you're going on exchange this fall, let's get ready while I tell you everything I wish I knew about budget traveling as someone who has been on exchange in Porto and has been to about 10 different places now. So I think a lot of us are told that it is a lot cheaper to travel while you're in Europe and you should be doing it. That is true, but it's going to be a lot more expensive than you think it is. Like, you can occasionally find some really good deals on flights, but for the most part, it's going to be more expensive than you think. So first thing, save up a lot more money than you think you need to for your exchange. Skyscanner has the option to search anywhere, and honestly, I would definitely recommend being flexible with where you want to go as long as you're open to that. Obviously do the trips that you really want to do, because I had a few of those myself, but definitely be flexible and see what's cheap, because you can get some really good deals on flights sometimes. Also, I'm so aware this is not my shade. I'm gonna try to correct it with some bronzing drops. This is my winter shade for sure, and I've been tanning all week in Madeira. Holy shit, that's so bad. If the city you're doing Erasmus in has an ESN chapter, 100% get the ESN card. Not only do you get to go to some fun events, you get 10% off of 4 one-way flights with Ryanair, and you get some luggage included in that, which is super helpful. I would also say be very clear if you're going to be traveling with other people on what your budget is, and set those expectations really early, because you can definitely get roped into some pretty expensive situations if you are budget traveling with people that are in a position to spend a lot more money than you're looking to spend. So definitely be clear, set those expectations for yourself, and communicate those very well. I feel like this one might be fairly obvious, but instead of opting to Uber, try to use public transit wherever you can. I find it so easy here to do that, especially to and from the airports. I've honestly never had an issue with it, but as someone coming from Canada, I'm really not used to that, especially in Ottawa. We don't really have, I know they're trying to set it up, but when I lived there was no transit to the airport, and it's always super expensive to get there. So take advantage of it while you're here. When I travel, I try to like budget travel. I typically go for groceries or cheaper options, but if I'm not going to be there for a long period of time, or if it doesn't make sense to get groceries, try using apps like Too Good To Go or like The Fork. Honestly, you can find some really good deals on food there, and food is where I try to cut costs the most, so I found those really helpful for myself. This tip isn't as applicable for people with very rigid school schedules, but if you have a good schedule or you're flexible, like I had a period of I think 2 weeks off over Easter break. I had another week off, and I had a week off before exams too. So if you can, try to pack as many cities and places as you can in those breaks without feeling overwhelmed. And I say this because it saves you a lot on flights if you can do it that way. I know it's not always possible. I would also say this one's a little bit strategic, but meet as many people as you can from your school that are also gonna go on exchange, because you can have a place to stay while you're over in Europe. That's exactly what I did with one of my friends. She was doing her exchange in Paris, and I was doing it obviously here in Porto, so we were able to travel together. So if you don't have anyone to travel with, we just met halfway and did some trips in Spain, and I went to visit her in Paris, which was super helpful, because accommodation in Paris can be super expensive. And then she came to visit me, so obviously offer that back to them. But yeah, if you get to know some exchange students that are also doing their exchange in Europe, it's really nice to have that place to stay, or even just to have someone in different cities that you know can meet up with and they can show you around. While you're traveling in different cities, definitely take advantage of discounts for Erasmus students, students in the EU, and free things in the city as well. A lot of tourist attractions and museums will have student prices, and if they don't have it listed, just feel free to ask. It costs you nothing, and honestly, it can save you so much money. All right, so I think those are all the tips I have for you off the top of my head, but if you want a part 2 or have any other questions about doing exchange in Europe, leave a comment and I will definitely answer that for you. Bye.